Okay guys, so the next thing we wanted to have a chat about is are you obsessed with training, and how does it sort of impact your life if you are? You know, these obsession is sort of like a fine line when it comes to your health and fitness. Like I hear like a sort of a little joke from one side of the fence from a lot of fit people is obsession is a word the lazy use to describe the dedicated. I sort of have a bit of a chuckle when I see that, but it sort of illustrates a point where I'm coming from here. There is that fine line of how far is too far. When things sort of get to the point where it becomes a little bit over the top. So just say, for example, like someone who's completely strict on their calories, but they're not in competition or anything like that. I sort of see this as, a little touch eccentric. That's just an opinion. Not to say that it's 100% correct, but you always want to be mindful of how far is too far. You want to make sure that you're doing things that like if you hate doing it and you're like, nope, I've got to do it because my trainer said so. I absolutely hate it, but I've got to do it. My trainer said I've got to do it. Then you're gonna hate it, and things aren't going to end up going your way anyway. So obsession is one thing. Obsession with results is one thing. But one thing people sort of need to get more attached to is the obsession with their hard work. Working hard in the gym, working hard in the kitchen, eating clean, enjoy eating clean. But I suppose like one thing that sort of gets me a little bee in my bonnet is like when other people try and sort of force their habits on other people, like to say, for example, it sort of goes both ways. Like, think of it like this, you're like a really clean eater and you're sort of training for a competition, and someone comes up and serves fried chicken to you. You're like, I'm not eating that, I'm preparing for a competition, and they look at you like you're sort of from planet Mars or something like that. They just think you're an alien. But then you've got sort of other people on the other side of the fence too, who are like just super duper Nazi healthy, and they try to sort of Nazi their friends into it. So that, as you can see, it sort of goes on both sides of the coin there. Like understanding how far is too far. And I sort of gave you a bit of a point on what my thoughts and feelings are towards that. Going to the gym like for 2 hours at a time, like 7 days a week, is my definition of obsessed. And it's an obsession that's going to cause the person probably more harm than good. Like usually if you go past an hour, like it's going to cause you more harm than good. So you want to make sure that you're not sort of falling into this category too much. So remember what I said about nutrition matching your exercise level as well, the quality of the food that goes into your body. Like you can't sort of afford to undereat if you're doing those sorts of hours in the gym. But that's sort of a minority of people. Like I know not all people do that. But I think like spending 2 hours in the gym 6 days a week, like or 7 days a week is just too much. And you get a crash and burn eventually. You're not going to be. You want to be able to do a routine that you're going to last. You're going to have last a long period of time. So if you look at something like this is a regimen that I've been sort of sticking with in the amount of days that I train. So I haven't been going past 6 days. For about 45 minutes. I try to keep a steady base of about 5. Like if I sort of float between the two, sort of like 5 and 6, 5 and 6. That way I'm not doing sort of 6 all the time. Like I'll sort of feel like I'm really pushing the line when I do 6. Like I find it pretty tough to do 6. But yeah, like obviously I'm very dedicated to my training, and there's a difference between dedication and obsession. Like there's a point where you take things too far, and like you go to sort of kill people if they steal your machine or something like that. not that that ever really happens, but you want to always be mindful of taking things too far, and if you're training far too much, and you're just like a full Nazi approach and you're not really enjoying it at all, that's when you're becoming a bad version of obsessed. Like you take a step back for a little bit. You like dedication is the best place to possibly be. You're dedicated, you're 100% committed, without being over the top obsessed. And being over the top obsessed, I think I clearly define my feelings on that and what exactly I feel it is. If you find you're having trouble in this area, don't be afraid to sort of cut back your exercise a bit. That's the thing. You don't have to spend hours in the gym to get results. We've sort of been over this before, where you only have to be sort of in the gym for 3 to 4 hours a week. It's a very small percentage of your week. There's 170 odd hours in there. So there's a small amount of hours that you actually spend in the gym, or you should at least be spending in the gym. Like, the rest should be focused on what you consume outside of the gym, and making sure that the gym isn't the only thing you've got in your life. Make sure you've got other things that you're concentrating on. Like, we all have, most of us have work commitments, university commitments, family lives, all that sort of thing. You want to make sure that sort of takes a lot of sort of weight off and focus off the gym stuff. It's always good to sort of be dedicated to your gym, but it can't be all that you do, guys. Like, you're going to be too one-dimensional and you're going to end up feeling hollow. So, a sort of a good way to think of this is, when you sort of first meet a girl and you start dating, so many guys that I've seen, they're at the gym and they're, all of a sudden they start seeing this girl and you don't see them in the gym again. And look, that's not a bad thing, because it sort of encourages people to sort of have a life outside the gym, and the weights are always going to be there when you get in as well. But always remember that sort of dedicate yourself to your training, but also dedicate yourself to other parts of your life too. I sort of hope I've sort of haven't confused you too much. I hope you found that useful, and I'll see you again soon, guys.